You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Try turning myself on first. I was on for a while. Sorry about the gap there. I turned myself up. I was waffling about the microphone, playing the bells and everything. It is Tuesday, the 16th of September, 2014. My name's Paul.
And mine's Andy.
And this is our Unpenned Show. Well, I've got to start with the actual topic of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's cover it quickly because I want to cover it because I'm a bit disappointed in what's going on.
Me as well. Yeah.
Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Scotland. I mean, it is getting towards... Scotland's going to save the world. Show the world the way forwards.
Yep.
Scotland is going to make the difference. The socialist country that Scotland is, the Labour supporters... I mean, if I was a Tory, I'd say, look, get them Scots out of here. Because without the Labour vote, us Tories can stay in control in England forever.
Mm.
Okay, because it was only them Labour numbers that really affected our ability to stop in control forever.
Mm-hmm.
This bloody sham that's going on.
It is.
Okay, now, yes or no does not matter.
No.
At all.
No.
Because yes or no, left or right, you're going
Red
where
or
you're going.
blue, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You'll get where you're going. Left, right, marching all together, boys and girls.
Yep.
People who should know a damn sight better than we do should know the political system only works for its own ends, its own means, and to make more of itself.
It does.
Okay, all the research that I've done tells me that Westminster pays more into Scotland than it gets out of Scotland. Well done, Scotland. Stand up on your own 2 feet and find out how bloody hard it is.
Mm-hmm.
Crack on, enjoy yourself, take independence, and the North Sea oil reserves that you think are going to end up in your bank accounts, I've got news for you. They never have and they never bloody will. Find out whose bloody oil that is, find out whose oceans it is, and find out where your borders actually end.
Mm-hmm.
We are being played for idiots.
We are.
I watch TV, I even watch Max Kaiser and Frankie Boyle. They still don't say what matters.
No.
Where's the bloody money coming from?
Yeah.
Right, your government cannot print money.
No,
your government has never been able to print money.
Nope.
Alex Salmond has got questions hanging over his head from Holly Gregg to whatever else he gets up to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Alex Salmond allegedly has used the police forces in Scotland to cover up who knows what.
Yeah.
The allegations are numerous, plentiful, and can be found all over the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Salmond is nobody that matters.
No.
To you or me.
Or me, no.
But he matters to the establishment, doesn't he?
Yes, yeah, he's playing his part perfectly.
I mean, I know Max Kaiser and people like him, right? Max Kaiser. Think of the name. Mm-hmm. Look at that name. Is that his real name? No. Michael Tsarian. Is that his real name?
No.
No, it's bloody not.
No.
They're playing their part. They're the actors of the day. Do I know which side of the fence they're on? I don't care which side of the fence they're on. It doesn't matter to me. Am I accusing them of being shills? No, I'm not. They're doing what everybody does.
Yes.
They're doing what they have to get bloody paid.
Yes.
They get bloody paid.
They've got bills
they
to pay,
work out what
like
they work out what their audience wants.
Yep.
And they bloody well supply it.
Mm-hmm.
Now they can actually sit and sleep well in their beds at night time and say yes, they're doing something to actually help those that want to help. Mm-hmm. And for those that listen and follow, they surely are.
Mm-hmm.
It's about time we learned politics is not for us. It's never been for us.
No.
It's a puppet show for us to watch and throw stuff at.
Yes. Keep
It's
us
nothing.
entertained.
It's nothing but the shield they wear.
Yeah.
It's nothing but the first line of defence, the pawns that are used and sacrificed, so we can't get to them.
Exactly, yeah. And
Whether Scotland votes yes or Scotland votes no, it's going where it's going.
yeah,
Right? It's going to end up where it's going.
it is.
Is anybody talking about the 9 regional assemblies that
No.
are already in place here in England? No, they're not.
We did a while ago.
Well, I've been talking about it for... Anyway, we have 9 regional assemblies in this country already in place.
Already in place, yeah.
Okay.
There are.
Manchester's going to go first. They're going to say, if Scotland gets its autonomy, we want ours. And then away it's going to go, and the people, God bless them for being so stupid, they are going to actually... They're going to say, we want it. We want it, we want it, we want it. This is European directives. Europe took over control of this country January the 1st, 2009. And it's about time you dumbasses figured this out. It's not hard to work out.
No.
There are names that I know that still are promoting the fact they're going to sign this treaty and they're going to sign this treaty, and that they're all signed, sealed and delivered, you nutcase. The 1st December 2009, this country ceased to be the country you thought it was. It lost its sovereignty.
Yep.
This game started a long time ago.
It did.
With Ted Heath and he knew he'd sold out. He knew he would.
Yeah, he knew he had, yeah.
This is all European moving in. And make no mistake, if you think the government hates us, the Europeans can't bloody stand us.
Yeah, and all they do is keep changing the name of it. EEC, Common Market. It's just the way I look at it, and the kids are into the Game of Thrones, aren't they?
They are.
And that is exactly what's going on. This is a Game of
We're
Thrones.
we're going back to that method of rulership, yeah.
And these,
it's authoritarian.
it is. And
Do as you're bloody told.
exactly, and it's the politicians of the time are the Knights Templar, aren't they? They're sitting round the round table, and instead of them wearing armour, their new armour is no feeling. They've got no feeling whatsoever, so you can't hurt them. That is their armour that they're wearing. They have no feeling. They care not a jot about you at all. And they even say we cannot comment in specific cases.
Well, let's go back to. You're absolutely right. You know, you've actually brought up something that I wouldn't have mentioned. I wouldn't have remembered. I don't think. Feelings. They're interesting things, aren't they?
They are.
You see, we can feel the heat of the sun, and we can feel the chill in the northern winds,
That's the frost, yeah.
and we can even feel the freshness of a clean cotton bed. But these are feelings, aren't they? Are they emotions? They're not emotions, are
No,
they?
no.
They're not emotions.
No,
People get feelings and emotions mixed up, don't
they
they?
do, yeah.
Now, this is what's happening with Scotland. The very people who should know better, Mark McGowan, the very people who should know better, yep, they're hailing this as the coming of the light. Really, really are. You should know better, boys and girls. You really should know. Unless you replace those people with people you know and trust, they're never ever going to work for you.
No, they're not.
Let me ask you a question. We've gone a long way in a short period there, fella. But I want to finish that point with you, you know, because you made a good point. But I think I've got to go with what I want to add to that now. When this journey started for us, and I'm saying for us because it's about 6 years ago, but it started for you before then. You'd started your journey and I'd started mine on our own.
We did on our own, yes.
And can I ask you, if you had to give me one sentence of what's changed, how you've changed between maybe the very first day that you started and where you are now, what's been the biggest change?
Not chasing the money. I've left the money behind. I know I need money to survive, and that's as far as it goes for me now.
Yeah.
No more than that.
Enough.
I'm got enough to pay my bills and a little bit left over to have a bit of a social life, and that is it. That's as far as it goes.
For me, that's level 1 of freedom. But you have to be able to attain that.
Yes.
And if you don't have what you need, you can't attain it.
You can't attain it, no.
So there's number 1. Let's go with the second one. What would the second one be? We haven't spoke about this, so I don't know what you're going to say.
The second one is fear. I've lost the fear. I'm not.
We're not frightened of anybody.
I'm not frightened of anybody anymore.
We'll actually sit down, have a coffee, and chat to anybody.
Yep.
And we have got something to bring to that table.
Yes.
We're not going to be told.
No.
If you want to win an argument, and you shouldn't get into one, if you want to win a debate, ask the questions.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to lose it, answer them.
No.
We're shown that every day, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
We're shown that every day by politicians,
Yep.
and yet it's so simple, we're still too stupid to learn it.
Mm-hmm.
What else you got to add to the list? Stop chasing the money, but
Mm-hmm.
that's only available if you've got what you need.
Yeah.
Most people can't even get that achievement.
No.
Because they don't have what they need. They've tried to buy what they wanted,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't have the ability to pay for it.
No.
Now, the Freeman movement says it's okay, you don't have to pay for it.
No, it's all free.
With no proof at all. But there's no proof at all to
No,
this.
there isn't.
There's lots of evidence that they can find on the internet.
Yep.
But there's no proof that it actually works.
No.
I hope it works. I'd love to walk away from my debts, although I've pretty much paid the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be gutted if it's true. And it might be true. But you're asking a controlling criminal system to do this for you.
Yeah, you are, yeah.
It can't let you win.
No, it won't.
Even if you think you're right. I'm not going to argue that you're not. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I'm going to say you can't win.
No.
You can't win. The precedent can never be set that you don't have to pay your debts. It can never be set. What have I said a year ago, 2 years ago? I said the only way out of this is go bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Just go bankrupt. Walk away.
Yeah.
You know, bite the bullet, take the tablet, swallow your pride.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Mm. And then it's just drip feed.
But there's no stigma to it nowadays. It doesn't
there's
matter.
not anymore. No.
What else you got? What else you got? So, the overcoming of the money chase.
Yeah.
The carrot and stick chase is over for you.
It is.
Well
yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Second is you're not frightened.
No.
Because there's no one coming to get us.
No.
There is no one coming to get us.
Yeah.
We always thought there might be.
Yeah. We did. Yeah.
Nobody is
Lose the
coming to
paranoia.
get us.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm.
So the fear of good God, I didn't open the paper or watch the news because we're over that.
Mm-hmm.
We realise the control system has to do this to remain in power.
Yeah.
What else you got to add to that list?
I think the third one for me is knowing that I don't know enough.
Good one. Good one.
I don't know enough.
When somebody brings you something that you don't know much about, you don't throw them away, do you?
No. Ask them. Try to ask them more and more questions.
But what do we do now that people are going to disagree with? We ask them, "What have you done?
Yes.
Who are you?
Who are you? Yeah.
You know, what experience do you have in life?
What do you do?
Yeah. What experience do you have in life?
Yeah.
Because I truly believe that experiences maketh the man,
Mm-hmm.
and without them, you can only present the illusion of that.
Yeah.
The rites of passage still exist, don't they?
They do. Yeah.
And if you haven't got through them all,
Mm-hmm.
you won't be the same as those that have got through them all.
No.
And this system would like you to not bother with them at all.
It would
It'd like you to live at home forever if you don't mind. Stay at home and let your mum do your washing forever.
Yes, go away quietly.
You know, I mean,
Nothing to see here.
Well, yeah, we've built a society now where men who can cook are laughed at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's maybe not so much now, but it was in my younger days. You know, if we go to the 1980s, that sort of thing, late 80s, 90s, you know, guys who could cook and clean and wash and iron were laughed at, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you big Nancy boys. I want to add a little bit to that list if I can, and it's because you and I are different. You're married and I'm not.
Yeah.
So I'm going to agree with your list, and I'm going to put two things on that I think you couldn't have added them on because you haven't been able to understand that for yourself.
Yeah.
For me, it is not needing a woman,
Mm-hmm.
not needing somebody to look after me, not needing not just a female, not just a woman. I don't need anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I can do what I need. I have what I need, and every problem that comes up, I can either deal with it personally, or have the ability to pay somebody to deal with it for me.
Mm-hmm.
And because I don't need anything, I don't feel vulnerable.
No.
And that might sound like I'm being a big head, but I'm not. It's just how I feel.
Yeah.
I don't feel vulnerable to anybody because I don't need anything from anybody.
No.
You know, what comes is what they say, you get what you deserve.
Yeah.
Well, I'm delighted to say that I get, you know, plenty of what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Your friendship, Joe's friendship, and other friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I get plenty of what I was hoping for. So I'm okay on that score. But there is one more thing, and I think you might agree with me, but I'm going to say it and you can decide. The emotions that came with this understanding. The actual most important thing that I think I would like to, for me, it'd be number one on my list. And it's the ability to actually feel emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Not feel cold, not feel warmth, not feel comfort. The actual ability to feel the emotion that you're being presented with. In other words, wearing the person's shoes.
Yes.
That the reality is presenting you, as opposed to watching it and then somehow being able to forget it. You know, I said to a farmer in my shop this week, an old farmer who is a bit grumpy and a bit, he's not always that pleasant to me, and he doesn't always say please and thanks. He's a bit of a grumpy old farmer, but we've known each other for a long time. And I was talking to somebody else, and he come in, and I said one of the lines that I've used before, and that is that, look fella, in the 80s you were being paid not to grow food and then watching people in Africa starve. So don't you bloody pick on me. Don't you think you're something better than me.
Mm-hmm.
He said, there's plenty of other chip shops. I said, I know, and you still keep picking this one, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
It's being able to say what you want, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
That's not that. My second point that I want to make is that because I don't feel vulnerable, and because there's nobody else that's going to get hurt except me, because there's only me lives here, so there's nobody else to embarrass or nobody else, no kids to bully at school, that sort of thing. I do have a little girl, but she lives with mum elsewhere. I feel quite bulletproof, really. You know, you can't hurt me because I know what you're doing. I understand the system enough now to know why you're doing that. I'm reading Skinner now. You know, Skinner is a behaviourism guy, and I'm pretty much halfway through the first book, and I understand that you know, Skinner's legacy is it's not the Pavlov training. It's not the close observations of what we are. It's actually knowing that the more they really frighten us, the more we'll look forward to the safety measures they impart upon us.
Yeah.
Skinner just was the forerunner to the health and safety executive that now actually, if we let them, we'll eventually have marshmallow pavements and padded walls, just like the asylums that we do keep crazy people in.
Heading for, yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't feel vulnerable. I don't feel that people can hurt me in the way that perhaps somebody with, you know, a shallow shell ego type lifestyle would do. And people do try and hurt you. They do. I mean, that you know, we spoke about a comment. Was it last week? You know, and the guy concerned, you know, he commented and he say what he wants, and you know, our conclusion from that comment was that probably younger than us, probably frustrated at not being able to have what he wants, probably looking at the cost of houses and the difficulty of relationships, and probably looking at the amount of income that's available to him, because he might be, you know, he's a low skilled, you know, of a low skill. And I don't blame him for being that. I don't blame him for being annoyed.
No,
I don't at all. If anyone's listened to a number of our shows, we always try and get in somewhere that we blame ourselves.
We do, yeah.
We blame ourselves for taking far too long to learn about how this works. We know we've been responsible for not actually looking at what we're doing. We've always been chasing the money and thinking success is having things, and
yeah,
you get to an age that's 40-something, and the statistics say that at somewhere around about 46, you know, those that are going to figure this out and they stop spending.
Yeah,
they stop spending because summer's over. Your summer holiday is over. You know, if life starts in spring and it's most enjoyable through summer, you've got to enjoy the maturity of autumn, you know. But you're not on your summer holidays anymore, because you're saving up for the cold. You know, you're saving up for the winter.
You are, yeah.
And the winter is when you can't work. You know, the winter's when you can't work. You know, there's nothing for you to do. Your life has been lived, and you've come to the end. And although you might have your eyes open, no one needs you. You've retired, and now it's getting through the winter. And you need to have your stores in place, don't you?
Yeah, you do. And it is the store age, isn't it?
We came a long way in a short period there, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Our first little bit of the show, and we've come a long way around there, and I've enjoyed it. Let's have a minute to ourselves, and we'll be back in 2, yeah?
Okay.
This is what you want, this is what you get. This is what you want, this is what you get. This is what you want, this is what you get. This is what you want, this is what you get. This is what you want, this is what you get. This is what you want, this is what you get.
So, welcome back then to the second part of the Unpenned Show. My name's Paul.
Mine's Andy.
And this is Tuesday, the 16th of September 2014. Good luck, Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the hands of thieves,
Bureaucrats.
deceivers,
Yeah.
bureaucrats in Europe.
Red tape.
Good luck. Yes or no, you're going to get what you were going to get anyway.
Mm-hmm.
The policies aren't clear. They aren't defined.
Nope.
The money is completely cloudy where it's going to come from. If you think you're going to join the euro, good luck with that one. You'll have to qualify first. It could take 2 to 5 years. If you think you're going to escape the Bank of England and the debts, you're not going to escape those.
And that is the main thing is the debt.
All that's going to change.
All they're interested
all that's
in.
going to change is the perception of the Scottish people.
Mm-hmm.
If they get a yes, they can blame us for everything. If they get a no, they can just blame us for everything. All right, this is so clever, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no matter what happens now, Scotland's had its choices, and it'll have to live by it. I suspect it might be a yes by a close vote, but I don't know. And it doesn't matter either, because they're going to get what they're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
I always think of like the Top Gear challenges. And over the years, I mean, I think there's been maybe 12 or 13 seasons now of Top Gear, maybe even more, I don't know. And they have the challenges, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
And it's always Jeremy in the car and Laurel and Hardy in the in the alternative,
the boat or the train or the bus or whatever.
They're always in the alternative form of transport, are they? And they do it so many times, but we never quite ask ourselves, really. Every single challenge goes down to the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
Even sometimes it's just seconds. Every single challenge is on a knife edge until the last few minutes. Of course it's bloody not. But we like it that way, don't we?
We do, yeah.
This is what's going on, you know. Is it the yes? Is it the no? Is it the yes? Is it the no? Is it the yes? Is it the no?
Is it fishing? Is it shooting?
Exactly.
Is it fishing? Is it shooting? So that's what they do a lot of in Scotland. It's deer, it's salmon. Salmon is deer.
They've been played. They've been played just like we all always are played. Yes or no, they'll get what they're going to get, and it won't. The people at the bottom, the poor people at the bottom, won't get any more.
Nope.
They just won't.
Do they think that they're going to be able to charge Duke of Edinburgh a load of money for fishing and shooting, and the Queen for Balmoral Estate? She's going to get her council tax increased.
The majority of the people don't understand whose land that is.
No.
They don't. They can choose who rules them.
Yes.
But they have to understand who pays their wages.
Yeah.
You know, it's Her Majesty's government that pays their wages.
Yeah, the revenue.
And they'll be Her Majesty's government no matter whether they like it or not. And they'll have the bloody picture on the money eventually.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's if Scotland goes with the Queen on the money, then Scotland hasn't got anything like independence. It's been brought closer in to the... We live in the European superstate.
We do.
And it's about time we started to forget these imaginary lines that actually exist on the planet that we live on.
Yep.
And it's not called a planet by mistake.
No.
The E might put you off, but it should be an I.
It should, yeah.
Because it is planet. And for those that think we live in monopoly capitalism, you're 80 years out of date.
You are. This is
You're
Brussels.
80 years out of date.
You are.
Okay, I know everyone talks about capitalism, monopoly, and the money game. This is the dying throes of that. The change was put in place in 1934. We now live in an economy that is lobbying. We've spoken about this before.
Yep.
It's a lobbying economy to get governments to do as they're told by big business.
Yep.
And I'm saying do as they're told is do as they're paid. This is the technocrats. And we live in a plutocracy. And it's all about big business.
And the salesman that can sell the big business.
Exactly.
And that's all they do,
It's
isn't it?
about
these
big
politicians?
business cooperating with each other.
Cooperating.
You hear corporations, and you think corporations are dead entities, and you're busy studying the very reality that is almost 200 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
They've got you studying how it used to be. They don't realise that you don't realise in 1934 this all changed. The banking reforms here in the UK and the USA all changed. There's only 3 banks that control Europe. There's the Central Bank of Europe, there's the Bank of England, and there's the Federal Reserve. And regardless of what you want to present to me, those 3 entities control Europe at the level we live.
Yep.
And they all report to the Bank of International Settlements in Switzerland.
Yeah. This is
anything else.
It's Brussels sprouting, isn't it? That's
anything else, yes it is.
Just spreading outwards.
Yeah. Anything else is whatever you say it is. And I'm not going to argue with you, because you spent a long time learning things that you don't need to know.
Yeah.
You spent a long time understanding how to fight a system that is rigged so you can't win.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck with that. There's no evidence you're ever going to. It'll cost you an awful lot of money. And it's not called the bar for nothing.
No.
And it's not sober as a judge for nothing either, is it? No. The bars used to be where we held court of public opinion, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure our lawyers and barristers have their own version of that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a European superstate. It's time we started talking about how this is going to affect our lives.
Mm-hmm.
We're busy reacting to the news, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because that's how they control us.
Mm-hmm.
My entire Facebook page is reacting to the news and food fights. And by food fights, I mean you should eat this, you shouldn't eat that. You should eat this, you shouldn't eat that. This is the cure, this is the problem. This is the cure, this is the problem. Oh, and cannabis.
Yeah.
Legalise cannabis and hemp. You're probably right. There's probably an awful lot of things that we should do. But since when did we should get to do those things? What we really should be doing is fixing our own problems.
Yeah.
And you started it.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing is, stop chasing the money.
Yeah.
It's fool's gold.
Mm, it is.
Second is, you said losing the fear.
Mm-hmm.
But perhaps we can just finish off that with, you don't actually care what people think anymore, do you?
No.
You don't worry about what people think about you.
No.
Because the people who judge you, okay, they have no value to add to your life.
No, they don't.
They're
not bringing anything constructive.
No.
If you're bringing something constructive, brilliant. I'm all ears. Yeah, not a problem. If you're correcting me where I'm wrong, yes, I'm all ears.
Uh-huh.
Where did I go wrong? Tell me where I went wrong. What did you do? How have you done it? And that fear's definitely one that you can put in the closet. That one. As I said last week about my son's girlfriend, and looking at her phone, oh, I'm scared now. It's doing exactly what it says on the tin, and just going back to Scotland again, what they're saying is, and fear factor again. If Scotland vote yes, there'll be no going back. There'll be no going back. Back to what?
The system doesn't go backwards.
It doesn't. It only goes forwards.
It doesn't go backwards. Only going forwards, because we can't find reverse. Come in peace, shoot to kill.
Yes.
You know how that works.
Yeah.
The flag is called the double cross.
Yeah.
That's where the word double cross comes from. Doesn't make sense in the language that we speak today unless you understand where it came from. The flag was the double cross, and we said we came in peace.
Mm-hmm.
And then shot everybody who disagreed with us.
Yeah.
And that's your peacekeepers, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The peace is kept on your terms and conditions.
Yeah. And it's about pieces, isn't it, as well?
It is about pieces.
It's just...
It is pieces, a piece of the jigsaw.
Yeah.
It's not by mistake, is it?
No.
I know it spells different, but that's for witches and wizards. They always cast spells, so we don't know what they're doing.
They do.
They always seem to get their own way, and they always produce the result they were going to.
Yes, eventually.
But they have spells to do it. And we actually make this, I think we make this, some say we oversimplify how this works. And I think you undervalue yourself as a listener, if you see what I mean. You want to complicate it.
Yeah.
So you feel smart.
You're looking for the distractions.
The listener listens to us, and we have some nice listeners, by the way. I'm sure we do.
Yeah.
We get very little negative. But in open court, as it were, people listen to us, and they listen maybe, but they listen with a view to proving us wrong. They want to prove us wrong. So they listen to what we say and think, right, I'm going to go and find someone that will shut them two buggers up. And yet all we say is what we see.
Yep.
And if that's the mentality or the frame of mind that you actually want to deal with us, as you've just said, good. But what you bring back to prove us wrong, be very careful what you bring. Because if you bring hearsay, somebody said, I've heard this, you're going to get crushed. Because you ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet. And that sounds like I'm boasting. But no, I'm telling the person who tries to tell me, I've heard this. I'm saying, you haven't seen anything yet. So don't try and tell me what you haven't seen. I wish we understood this language a little better. You know, when we hear that, is it Bachman Turner Overdrive? You ain't seen nothing yet, baby. Yeah. It sounds like someone's been smart-ass, doesn't it? It sounds like someone's boasting about how clever they are and how tough and hard they're going to be. You ain't seen nothing yet. And yet, the song's laughing at us. They're actually entertaining themselves by laughing at us. You see, laughter, if you put an S in front of it, it doesn't spell slafter, does it?
Oh, it doesn't, no.
I don't think we'll ever be able to get across to people that our stupidity and our inability to actually see what's been done to us is their entertainment. I suspect way above our pay grade is a level that says, what else can we get these stupid people to believe? Because as long as we present it with a white coat on, we can get them to believe anything.
Yeah.
We can get them to doubt who they are, where they came from, what they're here for.
Yep.
We can get the females to buy new clothes every season, even though there's nothing wrong with the ones they've got. We can get the girls to stop having children because they don't feel they need to, and we can get the girls to tattoo themselves and fight with the guys, as long as we set the scene that if the guy hits them back, he's in jail. In fact, I reckon if we give the girls all the power, the guys will be done with, because the white Western male, the aggressive, stand up for yourself, say what you think and say what you mean, and don't back down to anybody, he's a pain in our ass. It's time he was gone. Because we need to continue with our domestication program. Dissecto is to split, and mate is to breed. So we'll domesticate them, and we'll keep domesticating them, and then we'll import people from around the world to invade them until the white Western male is in the minority in his own country, and then he'll do as he's damn well told, because we'll stack up the whole system so he can't win.
Yeah, there's nothing you'll be able to say.
Only white people can be racist, remember. think about the brains that are doing this.
Yeah, they do have the brains, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
And the only people that they get to back up their and just as they've been doing with this yes and no campaign, they bring people in, somebody from this business, somebody from that business, somebody from this university, professor this, that and the other, and they're all people that are paid in their part of the system. They've got an invested interest in this, and those words, invested and interest, is what it's all about.
It's a vestry.
Yes.
They have been told that this version of humanity is over.
Yep.
And it would appear that it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is. This cognitive version that thinks for itself. Well, we can't recognize it at all now, can we?
No.
We can't be seen. There's no recognition. There's no cognition for what we're doing.
No.
The domestication program is going very, very well. And I'm not here to tell you that we're going to stop it. I'm here to tell you that you do what you want. We just talk about what we do. We talk about what we see. And we talk about what we think people are doing wrong.
Yeah.
And they can do that to us as well, which is why we put it on YouTube.
Yep.
We put it on there because we actually want we want your opinions.
Mm-hmm.
I ask for opinions, but I don't mean opinions.
No.
Because opinions aren't worth a light, really. They're just what you think. And what I'd like to ask you once you've given me your opinion is, can you tell me something that you've actually figured out that no one's ever told you? And if you can you tell me what thinking is? One of the most, what I would say, stabilising sentences that I've ever used is tell me something that no one's ever told you. And people can't do it.
No.
They can't do it.
That you've thought yourself, your own,
Yeah.
thought up yourself. Yeah.
Tell me something that no one's ever told you. And then tell me why it's true. It doesn't matter what you're talking to. It doesn't matter who you're talking to. It doesn't matter what level that's been projected to. You actually say that to whoever you meet, and they're going to actually just be a little bit stuck with their answer. And then you know that they're just the same as you. They just know what they've put in their eyes and their ears. That's all that can ever come out of their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that can come out different from that is dreams. A seesaw system.
Mm-hmm. It is.
And the advertisers sell us dreams. I hear lots of people blaming the television, lots of people blaming the magazines, and lots of people blaming the mind control. What do you make of all that?
Mm-hmm.
What do you make of all that? I mean, just we speak about these things quite often, but what do you make of that way of seeing the world? The television should never be watched. It's evil. Tell evil scion. This is rubbish. But it's what people see. You know, it's really just tell a vision. Mm-hmm. It's just, we're going to show you what we see.
Yeah.
It's a bit like having folks round to show them your photos, isn't it? You say, come round, sit down, I'll make you a drink and I'll get the photo album out and I'll tell you all the stories each photo has got attached to it. Well, that's what the BBC do. That's what the newspapers do. That's what the comics do. It's all just a photo gallery. It's all just attaching pictures and stories together. So you see the picture, remember the story. See the picture, remember the story. Well, that's how it was when you were sort of learning to read, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As you got better at reading, you didn't need the pictures.
Didn't need the pictures, no.
But the book was teaching you to generate the pictures.
Yeah.
So the pictures became smaller and less detailed. So and the language that you were learning became more intricate and detailed. So the picture disappeared, and the language improved, and then you had to formulate the picture in your own head. So that was the idea of improving your skills.
Imagination now, yeah.
Yes, but you were improving your skills to picture things.
Yes.
Whereas now, of course, everything has the picture attached to it. So you don't have to picture things anymore. You know, you watch people watching TV and they usually don't blink a great deal and they've got their mouths open and they really are completely into it. But what I'm coming back to is, we're 6 or 7 years in now. What do you make of the TV, the magazines, and everything else that we're told not to bother with? You know, newspapers and that sort of thing. What do you make of all that now?
I'm enjoying. I didn't really leave it alone, but enjoying connecting them all together.
If I said to you, after what we've learned along the way, could I make a good case to you, beloved, right, that everything around us, particularly the movies, are trying to wake us up? Would I make a good case?
Yeah.
Would you find me? Would you find me? Am I guilty? Am I guilty of saying that the everything around us would like us to learn? I'm guilty of saying the truth.
Yeah. I've likened it to. In fact, they're going to bring it back into the curriculum again about reading Shakespeare in school. And Shakespeare was Hollywood of his time.
That's exactly what.
That's all he did.
But kids don't need that.
He was telling the people of the time, these people that rule us are ruthless, bugging, lying buggers.
Yeah, but people don't hear that, do they?
No, they don't. No,
they hear what they want to hear and see what they want to bloody see.
He didn't call him King Lear by accident. King Liar.
Exactly.
He had 3 daughters, and he hated all 3 of them. Because he wanted a son.
It is remarkable, isn't it? It's remarkable how it is obvious they're trying to wake us, or at least you could make a case that they're trying to wake us up.
Yeah.
But we're not having it, are we?
We're not, no.
Those advertisers are working against everything, aren't they?
Yeah.
You watch the TV and then you watch the adverts in between. Those advertisers are doing their best to tell you that you need this and you need that and you need this and you need that. You've no time for study, have you?
No.
You've no time just to take a little moment for yourself. That's what made the difference to me. And it still makes a difference to me now, that I actually have a little bit of time where I can sit quietly and nobody bothers me. Yeah, and it is actual quiet time.
Yeah, time to think and chew things over. Yeah.
Well, only when you've got the day's work done and you've cleared out the rubbish out of your head. I mean, you tell me in the early days, how much garbage did you have to take out your head that you've been storing?
Oh, tons of it. Yeah.
Would you say that you probably emptied most of it?
Oh, yes.
And would you say what you've kept you can't remember?
Yeah. Yes, we've often said times before that what got us into this, and I've left the UFO thing behind years ago.
But the YouTube awakening is it does get everybody to start with.
It does, yeah.
But you have to focus.
You do, yeah, and it's picking those bits out. You went there for a reason. You went down that rabbit hole. And we live in Ripon, North Yorkshire.
Well, a lot of people quote the film They Live, don't
Lewis
they?
Carroll was from round here, wasn't he? Wrote Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, I've not seen that film, but you have, haven't you? And pick things out of it. I watched. I went to the pictures a while ago, a few weeks ago, I said, and watched the new Simon Pegg film. Yeah. Loads of stuff in that.
I haven't watched it yet.
Loads of stuff in it, and I were laughing at the bits that other people weren't laughing at. I were laughing on my own, and I'm laughing to myself because of picking the bits out that fit with what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got the decode as close as it gets. I do really think, because everything I say fits in with what I understand the decode to work like.
And I understand the kids, Stuart that comes round as well, he's reading the Game of Thrones books, and my kids are into it. They've read the books and downloading the stuff and I've not seen it, but I get it's back to the medieval thing. It's just Shakespeare for the 21st century.
We can talk about the Disney programming. Yeah. About kings and queens and princesses and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And Wills and Kate are doing their thing, you know.
They're fitting in perfectly with that one.
You have to say to yourself that Wills and Kate appear to like each other. And if their relationship develops as it appears that it's going to, then we're going to have what happens is monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
And we're going to have the royalty are going to, I mean, Diana, she made such an impression on the public.
Yeah.
The royalty was now distancing itself because Diana was doing much more than any royalty were doing, and we can get into the conspiracies of why she's not here, and I'm sure there are plenty of them, and I'm sure that some of them are quite true, but it doesn't matter. Speculation's not for us at all, not in that way. But I know if Wilson and Kate do prove to be popular, and by golly they are, then we will accept that sort of control.
Yeah. Well,
because they're so popular. I mean,
I see it as the balance has come back.
Yeah, as we become more and more childlike, and as the safety measures that are implemented basically stop us hurting ourselves in any way.
Yeah.
I mean, I could make a case that we're being killed with kindness. Nobody falls in this, and nobody has to fall. Everybody can do what they want. Well, this is the Satan clause that's always been going on. But of course, it's our downfall.
Yeah.
We are falling down. Not everybody. Evolution's not for everybody. This is what people get confused. They think all society is going down. Well, of course it's not.
No.
No. Just the society that you mix with and see is going down.
Yeah, some of it they want rid of.
It's time to recognise that if that's a society you actually mix with, and you see the fall of society around you, then you're part of what is not needed anymore.
Yeah.
Evolution is for those that will get involved in it. They create it. They get involved in creating evolution.
Yeah.
Revolution or revolution is going round again. In other words, you're not part of evolution, but you're happy to jump on the roundabout of revolution.
Yeah.
Revolution is quite simply to go round again. It's a cycle. It's a circle. And if you've got predictive text on your phone, try and spell the word awake, and it comes out as cycle. You have a little think about why that would be. To be awake, truly awake, is to understand this cycle. Do we support what's coming next? It doesn't matter. Can we affect what's coming next? No, not in a way that we can change what's coming. We can only change what part we take in it.
Yes, our part that we play in it, yeah.
If we want to actually change the future, we best get sat at the table that discusses changing the future.
Yeah.
I think we might be about 100 years out of date.
Well,
at least 80.
I've said that as well. All the things that have been put in place are done in secret, aren't they? The Bilderberger meeting, they get together. We don't know who's there and who isn't there. There's speculation on who was there at the Bilderberger meeting. Did we see it? The only thing we saw was blacked out cars going past.
Did we go to the Bilderberger meeting, do you think?
Did we really?
Did we really?
I don't know.
Or were we just in a little triangle in the corner of a field staring at what looked to be a massive country house?
Exactly.
Did we go to a Bilderberger meeting?
I have no idea.
And I don't know either.
I have no idea.
I have no evidence that we went.
Nope.
None at all.
Nope.
All I saw was a show in the triangular part of a field.
Yep.
And that show was put on by Ike, Jonesy, Meacher, and other lesser-known names that we're all aware of.
Yeah.
What I saw was a rally for the activists.
Yes.
I didn't see a Bilderberger meeting.
No, we
didn't. No,
we
just saw a rally for the activists.
Corner of a field, exactly.
What I saw was a count-up of how many people will come.
Yes, that's what I saw. Protest.
For test.
Yes.
See how many will come.
And we did it. Everybody there.
We said before we went, we're going to see who's there.
Exactly. Faces on show. Your registration on ANPR has been taken, knowing exactly who's come from where and what have you.
Yep.
And a meeting that's taken in secret, and all we do is go on here, put it on here, and tell everybody what we're doing.
I know.
And they do everything behind closed doors.
We'd be rubbish
spies. Tell us nothing.
We'd be rubbish spies, you know.
And they feed. Well, that's what we did. We fed the resistance, didn't we? That's what we did. We give them coded messages on the radio.
Yeah.
And is that what we're getting?
Of course we bloody are.
We're getting coded
This
messages.
thing's miles in front of us, for God's sake.
80 years, were it? We're looking at
We're 80 years
1934,
behind.
was
We're
it?
80 years behind.
Yeah.
We're still talking about the things they're done with.
Exactly. Reading books
I mean,
from the 1960s.
we know that we always get given things that they're done with.
That's done with, yeah.
So we can get really knacked, complain about it, protest
Yeah.
about it, and shout and bawl about it.
Wipe your bum on this.
Exactly. We always get given the next stage for us,
Yes.
and the stage they're done with for them.
For them, yeah.
It's cooperations.
It's cooperations, yes.
They've got all the money they want.
They have.
They've got the banking control they want.
They've-
They've got the people in places of control that they want.
They have.
It's now time to introduce a new system. The new system of control will be more efficient than the last system of
It
control.
will. Yep.
The first thing they need to do is to dupe us into a cashless economy. It doesn't mean that we're going to be cashless. It doesn't mean that we won't have money as such. But it all has to be trackable, traceable, chargeable,
Yeah.
and taxable.
Keep you safe.
Exactly. So even though we'll have cash in our pockets,
Yeah.
we'll have to ID to spend it.
We will, because we don't want it coming from terrorists, do
Well,
we?
it also could have drugs on it, or it could have a
It
virus
could,
on
yeah.
it. And you know, those cash dealers are as bad as drug dealers because that's where they get the cash from. You know.
Oh, is it? Yeah, yeah, of course.
bullshit. What we'll do is we need to make some plastic money,
Oh,
so
that'd be
that's
a
more
good
efficient,
idea.
isn't it?
It'll
And we
last
should,
longer.
and we should be able to embed
Yeah.
some technology in there so we can track it. So if someone's keeping it under the bed, we know where it is. What would you do? That's what I would do. That's what I would do. I think these people who are not giving me all the money that I need. It's time. It's time. Let's join the European Eurostate and let's make the rules so 13.5 million people who work in small businesses throughout the UK, let's change the rules so they can't survive anymore. And you say, why would they want 13.5 million people out of work? They don't care about that.
No, they don't care a jot about
They
that.
don't care about that at all. This is big business who runs this place. Not Alex Salmond. Not Huey, Dewey and Louie. No. They don't run this place. Big business pays its alternative board of directors.
Yeah.
You know them as politicians. Big business runs this place. And they'll administer the economy. They'll administer the ration. You know it as administration. And the ration will be really simple. You'll get what you need as long as you take the drugs that they tell you have to.
Yeah.
You're not having kids anymore. Because we're going to do everything we can to stop you having them. The first thing, we're going to actually indoctrinate girls so they don't want them. We're going to actually make a whole economy so the girls say, oh, I'm not going to bother having kids. What they're for then? What they're here for? Well, who needs a girl like that? They ever going to get married? Well, probably not. But if they did, why bother getting married when you're not having kids? What's the point? It's an illusion of what? Isn't getting married to have children? No, it's a commitment between two people. Well, you can have that without getting married, can't you? The girls are willingly submitting themselves to becoming nothing more than sex objects. If they don't want to have kids, they're obviously not going to be seen as suitable wives for the guys who want to choose wives. So they're going to be used as sex objects. Brave New World, 1934.
Yep.
80 years out of date, aren't we?
80 years out of date, yeah.
80 years out of date, aren't we? That's how I'm reading Skinner, and Skinner is talking about how easy it is to understand what we are and how easy it is to change our environment so we we change ourselves, and how we just basically will do whatever it takes to to make ourselves look more than we are.
Exactly. And if you think that's not happening, look at go to a zoo. Go to a zoo. What do they do with the zoo? They make the environment look exactly like the one that they took the animal out of, or try and replicate that as much as possible, don't they?
And then they try and get them to breed.
Yes.
The important part is breeding. Because once they get the first pair to breed, then the actual the babies that are born know no different. And then they try and get them to breed again. And then the instinct is lost.
It's lost, yeah.
The instinct is lost, third and fourth generation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where are we now?
Exactly.
We're here. We're here.
We are.
We live in the European superstate. And the only reason that we don't have the money is because we've got a central bank.
We have, yeah.
And that central bank, along with the European central bank, will be left standing. It won't be for our benefit at all. No, it won't benefit us at all. It never has and never will. I've never seen a campaign to end the Bank of England, or actually expose the Bank of England as a private institution it is. You know it's a private institution because you can't find out who runs it. You can't find out who the shareholders are. You can't find out anything about it. If it's any consolation, this European superstate and the 9 regional assemblies that we're all going to be offered over the next sort of, whenever we'll accept it, years. It was talked about in 2001, 2002 by Kenneth Clark and Prescott, and they talked about the counties being eliminated really.
Yep.
And we're going to 9 regional centres, and those centres are called regional assemblies, but it's just cover for the European Union.
Yep.
Because their people will be installed. I mean, we're talking about thousands of people the European Union have actually, over time, have amassed for their common purpose.
Yeah.
And their common purpose is basically just to take over our lives.
And under the veil of democracy. And that will be no democracy whatsoever.
It's not been democracy since...
You won't have elected people in there that you know and trust.
Socialism's been part of this country since the Second World War, for sure, really. This is a socialist society, if you care to look closely. But for some it's communist. But for some it's capitalist. And for the top it's fascist, really. But it's actually just authoritarian. It's just how it's going to be. We all try and put people in boxes, don't we? When we meet someone, we always say, I've spoken to so-and-so, and then we conclude where they belong. Why? If someone said, where do these 2 guys from Yorkshire, which box should we put them in? I don't think there is a box. I'm not an ist or an ism. We're just 2 guys from Yorkshire that recognise that who we are is done.
Yeah.
The white Western male is time's done. And if things continue as they are, we won't exist in maybe 1 or 2 generations' time. That's what matters to us, but it will to who we leave behind, because who we leave behind will become, they'll actually become the minority in the country that they were born in. We need to prepare our kids for this.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing that you and I can pass on to these kids in our work experience, in other words, work skills, that it's hardly going to be any good to them. Because as things go along, the mechanisation of man has been well underway for over 250 years. The Industrial Revolution started what we will call the mechanisation of man himself. And since then, we've been busy inventing machines to make our lives easier. And that's not going to stop until we've invented the very machines to make our lives worthless.
No, exactly. And the machine that churns these so-called politicians out has not changed. The machine that churns those out is
they are less than
Oxford,
less than they've ever
Cambridge.
been.
It just churns them out and churns them out and churns them out.
They are more boys. They are more nannies' boys than they've ever been.
Yep.
There's no statesman in there now, is
no,
there?
and emotionless. They have no emotion.
But they have to be. But there again, I'm back to asking you the same question that we sort of started with. Were we emotionless before we started this journey?
Without a doubt, yes.
We were, weren't we?
Yes.
I mean, is that an admission that I can say you agree?
I totally agree.
Because I wanted to crush my competition.
Yeah.
I wanted to control my environment.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make a profit. I was at me.
Mm-hmm.
But only when I learned the bit that I was missing, what I've been missing, only when that final piece fell into place, did I understand that if I live like this,
Mm-hmm.
then everybody will live like this. And this only ends in tears.
Does, yeah.
And the most money wins.
Mm-hmm. I was ashamed that when the first Gulf War, it was John Major and Bush Senior went in, and I remember saying, "What are we going in there for? We've got neutron bombs and stuff.
Yep.
Why don't we just nuke them?" This is what I say. I remember sitting in front of the telly and saying, "What? Why are we risking British lives to do this?"
Which was half the right question.
Yes,
It was half the right, yeah.
halfway there. And then to come full circle to the conversation we had the other Friday night, and my son's girlfriend saying, "Oh, I'm scared,"
Mm-hmm.
and I just launched into, we gave them the money for the weapons. We gave them the money for the weapons,
I know.
and this has started this so-called Islamic State. And I said, we're reaping what we're sowing. We do these things on purpose. They were called rebels. Now they're calling them terrorists. It's so easy to flip.
Insurgents.
Yes.
Insurgents.
Yeah.
ISIS.
Mm.
Is this Israel's Security Intelligence Service?
Sounds that way, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? It does. We're two guys sat in Yorkshire who don't actually claim to know what's going on in the big wide world. But we do know one thing. We know what we see, and we know what we understand.
Mm-hmm.
And what we understand is that we are insignificant in the big picture.
Yeah.
And we're using the best spying machine that's ever been invented.
Mm-hmm.
And this machine here is actually able to identify every single household and who's for and who's against.
Mm-hmm.
And if there was any doubt about the Scottish referendum, which way it's going to go, it's been eliminated by the use of this machine here.
Mm-hmm.
Because GCHQ, there is a GCHQ in Bude, and it actually intercepts or siphons off all the incoming from across the Atlantic on the internet. And the British Library, think of the size of the British Library, and think of all the information in those books in the British Library. And GCHQ is intercepting and filing that amount of information about every 40 seconds. Think about the Eye of Sauron, or Google if you want to call it. Think about how it can serve us all in milliseconds, and it searches the whole internet. Think about the computing power that they've had for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and then assume it's probably improved as the years have gone by. If I had to put this together, I would only ever put on the shelves that we can buy from the very slowest and the very easiest for me to intercept. In fact, it would be a prerequisite that I would have to be able to access every machine at any time, whenever I wanted. If I'd said that a few years ago, people would have said, "You are a paranoid conspiracy theorist." And now people say, "Yeah, we know." If I had said, "I'm going to put in your radios and your digital clocks and in your skybox, in your washing machine, and maybe in your kettle and your toaster and your cooker, I'm going to put devices in there that can link together when you've got them plugged in. And these devices can actually be used to monitor not only the use of the item that we're speaking of, but they can actually connect with your Wi-Fi and be used to look at how you move around your house. How many times you go to the bathroom, how many times you do this, how many times you go there, and how many people live there, and who moves where, and they can actually sense not only the usage, the energy uses, but they can actually sense who's moving around the house. They can actually monitor your life and your energy levels of the energy you require. And then what I can do is like what I'm doing with cars. What I'm doing with cars is I'm now demonising diesel cars after getting you all to buy them, and I'm going to actually charge diesel cars more to use the roads by upping the fuel that they need, after promising that I'd always keep it 2 or 3 pence lower. I'm going to up the diesel costs, and then I'm going to change the emission levels that I allow your car to actually emit. So eventually, if you keep your car long enough and refuse to change it and buy the car that I want you to buy, you'll no longer be able to afford to use your car. Doesn't matter whether it's a perfectly good car, you'll actually be no longer be able to afford it. I've done this before. It was called the scrappage scheme. I've done it before, and that's because I'm the government, but I don't govern you. The car companies govern me. They tell me what to do.
Yeah.
So I've already done this before with the scrappage scheme, and this of course makes no sense to anybody who actually got any left. We're scrapping perfectly good cars so you can buy new ones, and we'll give you £2,000 to do it. People will fall for anything, won't they?
Yep.
People will fall for any bloody thing. So eventually, if I have to, I'll offer you a scrappage scheme for your diesel car, and if you don't actually chuck it in, even though there's nothing wrong with it, I'll tax it off the road one way or another. Okay, and that's going to include wagons, taxis, and van drivers. And I know that the majority of the taxis and van drivers and wagons, I know you're self-employed. You see, but my plan is to get rid of you. My plan is to get rid of your little independent businesses. My plan is to get rid of 13.5 million people who are employed by the small businesses in England, because England is a small nation of shopkeepers, and I don't want you working for somebody else, because while they're making profits, I can't have them. Competition is wrong. I have achieved this position of power, and now, because of the economy and the way it is, I cannot increase my profits by the normal means of competitive business. So now that the money's gone, now that the profit's gone, competition, I'm going to have to eliminate you, so I can increase my profits by eliminating your ability to charge and compete against me. So get used to it, Britain, because that's your future economy. 13.5 million people out of work who work for small businesses, or you can come and work for me for £6.53 an hour. You see, the economy's broken now. This is where a member of a household can go to work for 40 hours a week, and the amount of money he brings home isn't enough to pay his bills.
No. My daughter's got 2 part-time jobs.
At some point, we're going to have to stand. You've seen V for Vendetta, haven't you?
Yes.
The end of that film is we all just stand there and we say, guys, we don't say it, but the film infers, we've had enough. And they don't come out and see us, so they blow it up, don't they?
Yeah.
Is this a spiritual revolution that we need? And by spiritual, I mean emotional. Is it the emotions that's made the difference to how you think and feel?
Definitely, yeah.
Is it the understanding that they don't have any emotions?
Yeah.
Is it while we're led to believe that they're reptiles, when actually they're just cold-blooded killers?
They are cold-blooded
killers,
killers.
are they?
No.
The film They Live, you'll hear a lot of people promoting the film They Live, and it's a very good film, and an allegory of life. You could certainly say, yeah, it is in the early part, But the film finishes like all good propaganda films does. It's the moon, it's aliens, and there's nothing we can do about it. They will actually give us the alien agenda if we'll ever accept it.
Mm-hmm.
They will actually turn the nighttime sky of Set into the ultimate storyteller. But I don't think we're going to live long enough. I don't think we're going to live long enough.
No.
I also don't think we're going to stop in any part what's going on and what's coming. I don't think so. But I would like to meet people who at least understand that we don't have to do as we're told. We don't have to follow the agenda. We can find and talk and mix with ourselves. We can find like-minded people. It's not easy though, is it?
No. It's
everybody wants to fight and fall out, and everybody wants to win something.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to win here, is there?
No.
There's no money. I mean, TPV proved that. There's no bloody money in this.
No money in it, no.
And now they're booking off to America to try it again.
Mm,
Well,
yeah.
good luck, America. You'll get suckered as well.
Yeah.
Well, tossed off is the word that I'm thinking of.
To 300-400 grand, was it? I don't know.
Well, first of all, we don't even know if they got given it.
No.
Okay, but it doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't matter. What we do know is that the people who did give never got what they were promised, did
no,
they?
They didn't.
They never got what they were promised.
No.
And Mr. Ike, I don't know him. He's not apologised.
He hasn't.
He's not fronted up. He's not said, you know, I actually sold you that, and I sold, and it was a bad deal.
Yeah.
And I got in bed with the money men, and
accountancy. I remember him saying
and they stole it off me.
Mm. I know.
He's a slimy coward and all, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's not good enough, is it?
No, it isn't.
It's not bloody good enough. The mudslinging, I've seen him mudslinging, I think, you stupid ass.
Mm.
You want to lose support? You want to lose face?
Yeah.
Start slinging mud.
Yeah.
Look, take it on the chin.
Yes.
Apologise and give them their bloody money back.
He should have.
And your Wembley tickets, give them for bloody free.
Mm.
Oh no, he's not going to do that. No. He's done. Ike is done, and I don't know him.
No.
And all the good that he's done over the years, the good that he's done, all of it, and because he's too bloody proud to apologise, and give something back to people who gave to him.
The first thing I realised was that to admit your mistakes. If you don't admit your mistake, that you've made a mistake, you'll carry on making them.
It starts to compound, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
Look,
yeah.
I mean, I'm actually now. I don't even know the guy, but I know he helped me greatly in the early years.
Yeah.
All right, he was a little bit off the wall for me, but there was things in there that I used.
Yeah.
There was stuff in there that I could use. There was stuff in there that helped me along the way.
Mm-hmm.
But now, it's made me question his whole contribution, because he should know better to front it and take it. He should know that lying is losing. He should know that if you've made a mistake, you bloody front up and say so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That he hasn't done so. And that tells me something that I don't want to actually have to believe.
Mm-hmm.
He either hasn't achieved fully awake, because that's not what fully awake people would do in my opinion, or there's something else. He's kept the money and sod you.
Yeah. Which is it?
Trying to play both sides, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to blame everybody else. Since when has blaming people fixed anything? It fixes your conscience so you can sleep.
Yeah.
But it doesn't gain your respect so you can walk, does it?
No, I remember clicking on the YouTube video and it was over an hour or something, and I listened to the first 10 minutes and I switched off. I thought, it's done. Yeah, he's not. I thought, if you aren't going to accept that it's gone wrong, and you were wrong, in the first 10 minutes, I'm not listening to the rest of it, and I didn't.
Good lad. I didn't intend for this to finish with a bit of a cheap shot at David Icke.
No.
But it's about time that people started speaking out.
It is.
Because people somehow think that...
Keeping quiet. Well, how dare you?
Remember, you've got customers, or an audience, customers, same thing. They've all got customers they want to keep.
Customise it.
Yeah, they've all got... Everybody wants a pat on the head.
Yeah.
Everybody wants well done you, well done you, well done you. No, we bloody don't. No, we don't. We do this to see what you think. And we're curious, but do we care? Be careful. We don't care what you think in the way that you think we do. We're curious what reaction we achieve For the rest of my life, I'll be doing something like this. Reading, learning, trying to share. Reading, learning, trying to share. For the rest of my life, I'll be doing this. So I'm curious how successful it's being. But the more anti you are towards us, the more I learn.
Yes.
The more I learn. Remember being told, well done, Paul. Well done, lads. Well, that's what's got us in this mess, isn't it? We think we're the best in Europe. We think we're the greatest nation that's ever lived. We think we're the greatest version of humanity that's ever been created. We're finding out we're not, aren't we?
Definitely.
We're finding out that's a bit rubbish, isn't it?
Yeah.
So although the few thanks that we get and the comments that we get, we really do appreciate them. I almost try and provoke a reaction.
Yeah.
And we've had one or two over the past week or two. And I don't mean to start an argument. A compliment's very welcome.
Yes.
But a complaint is to be studied closely.
It is.
I know that too many people sat pressing buttons think that this is the way it's going to be. It's not the way it's going to be. This is the spy who's got this is like putting a cross on your door in the middle of the night. They know who's naughty and they know who's nice. And we're going to find out in years to come. In last week's show, I did decode the Santa Claus. And maybe next week I'll decode it a little bit further. Because it really is Christmas every day. It really is Christmas every day. Except we get to buy the presents. It really is. I hope I can actually share that well next week. Anything else you want to add?
No, not for tonight. I think we've covered most things that we want to cover.
For another Tuesday.
Good night from me.
And good night from me.
We have an obligation to every last victim of this illegal aggression because all of this carnage has been done in our name. Since World War II, 90% of the casualties of war are unarmed civilians, a third of them children. Our victims have done nothing to us. From Palestine to Afghanistan to Iraq to Somalia to wherever our next target may be, their murders are not collateral damage. They are the nature of modern warfare. They don't hate us because of our freedoms. They hate us because every day we are funding and committing crimes against humanity. The so-called war on terror is a cover for our military aggression to gain control of the resources of Western Asia. This is sending the poor of this country to kill the poor of those Muslim countries. This is trading blood for oil. This is genocide. And to most of the world, we are the terrorists. In these times, remaining silent on our responsibility to the world and its future is criminal. And in light of our complicity in the supreme crimes against humanity in Iraq and Afghanistan and ongoing violations of the UN Charter and international law, how dare any American criticize the actions of legitimate resistance to illegal occupation? How dare we condemn anyone else's violence? Our so-called enemies in Afghanistan, Iraq, Palestine, our other colonies around the world, and our inner cities here at home are struggling against the oppressive hand of empire, demanding respect for their humanity. They are labeled insurgents or terrorists for resisting rape and pillage by the white establishment, but they are our brothers and sisters in the struggle for justice. The civilians at the other end of our weapons don't have a choice, but American soldiers have choices. And while there may have been some doubt 5 years ago, today we know the truth. Our soldiers don't sacrifice for duty, honor, country. They sacrifice for Kellogg, Brown, and Root. They don't fight for America. They fight for their lives and their buddies beside them because we put them in a war zone. They're not defending our freedoms. They're laying the foundation for 14 permanent military bases to defend the freedoms of ExxonMobil and British Petroleum. They're not establishing democracy. They're establishing the basis for an economic occupation to continue after the military occupation has ended. Iraqi society today, thanks to American help, is defined by house raids, death squads, checkpoints, detentions, curfews, blood in the streets, and constant violence. We must dare to speak out in support of the Iraqi people who resist and endure the horrific existence we brought upon them through our bloodthirsty imperial crusade. We must dare to speak out in support of those American war resistors, the real military heroes who uphold...
We do need to start doing this. We need to say what matters.
Yeah.
The real military heroes who uphold their oath to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, including those terrorist cells in Washington, D.C., more commonly known as the legislative, executive, and judicial branches. I close with a quote from Frederick Douglass, but if you want more information, please visit my website at liberatethis.com. Frederick Douglass said, "Those who profess to favor freedom and yet depreciate agitation are people who want crops without plowing the ground. They want rain without thunder and lightning. They want the ocean without the roar of its many waters. The struggle may be a moral one, or it may be a physical one, or it may be both, but it must be a struggle. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never has, and it never will." Okay. Oh.
Well said, girl. Well said. Mm. And that's what's wrong with it, isn't it? Yeah. We want it too easy. Mm. But every step of your life, every important part of life, everything that mattered, it's been hard, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't this discovery and actually stabilising your life maybe one of the hardest things you've ever done?
It certainly was, yeah.
Was it the biggest leap of faith you had to take?
Throw away everything that you believed in.
You had to,
down the toilet.
Yeah.
And flush it and watch it disappear.
You had to learn to let go of every single thing that everybody around you supported. Mm. They all carried on thinking that way. Mm. And you knew that they were wrong. Mm. But you didn't know enough, did you? You didn't know enough. But as the information kept coming, you started to change.
Yep.
And now you see them for what they are. The controlled members of society who you would actually do an awful lot of damage if you woke them up. All we can do is say what we think is the right things to say. All we can do is try and engineer a conversation that actually makes people think. Mm. To attack them, to embarrass them. I can put my hand up and say, that doesn't work. It doesn't work. It makes enemies and it makes you unpopular. I really hope that if there's one thing we can achieve over the time we do these shows, let me ask you, when you first started, and perhaps your wife or your son or your daughter or somebody else would say, what are you listening to? Mm. You'd say, nothing, no, it's alright, don't matter, nothing. Because you were embarrassed, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Yeah. You were embarrassed. Now, why were you embarrassed? Because of the trouble that would come if you told them what you were doing. Mm-hmm. Well, that doesn't make sense, does it? Because if you're doing the right thing, then you should be able to say, have a listen to this with me. Mm. Right from the beginning I said, didn't I? I want to make shows that people aren't embarrassed to let others listen to who don't know. The public don't know what's going on. And the scary thing is, they don't know. Mm.
Yeah, that definitely fits with me. I didn't know.
The solutions are what you already know they are. Use cash. Get the fluoride out of your toothpaste. Filter your water. Say your truth as it stands today, and be prepared to change it tomorrow if somebody else comes along that makes more sense. Don't hold on rigidly to what's going on. It's all fluid, it's all moving, it's all changing, and there is a certain percentage of truths that turn out to be falsehoods over time. So don't say you know. Tell them that you've been thinking, and this makes the most sense. I hope you and I do this for a long, long, long time.
Yeah.
It may well sound the same show to ears that don't listen, and over time I hope you come back and say, it's not the same show, is it? I just thought it was. I tell people it's the same show every week, but it's not really. Good night from me.
Good night.
Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan, "Press on," has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race. Calvin Coolidge, 1933.